My glorious Master, on this wonderful day of your Vyasa-puja, I humbly submit this offering to you. Coming from such an unworthy disciple, it will have no merit except one, that it is a sincere attempt to glorify you, who is most dear to Radha Krishna, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and our parampara of luminaries in the vast sky of devotion. Tatikshava karunika surida savadehinam ajata satrava shanta sadava shauru bhushana. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, 25-21, is one that you have quoted often and is a special verse to me. It reminds me of how frustratingly far I have to go to be decorated with any of these deep qualities. But the verse, more importantly, enables me to meditate on your character most sublime, because you are embellished with all of these virtues in full, like the Gaupani moon in Mayapur. In the purport to this verse, you state, a sadhu is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country preaching. Tirelessly and with the courage of a saintly king of yore, your mercy to spread the word of devotional service leaves us in awe. At 70 years of age, you braved the wild ocean, weeks of seasickness, and heart attacks that took you to the brink of death. All these travails you heroically endured for us, and in order to fulfill your spiritual master's instructions. In such a short time, you revolutionized the world, a spiritual revolution that is coming to fruition in all its power with every increasing year. Temples abound on every continent, your TOVs being built, a great living monument, testament to the fulfillment of your desire and that of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our great predecessor Acharya. 50 years later, Kirtan has spread around the globe like wildfire. Vegetarianism has become mainstream, and an increasing desire by the general population to protect the cow in the burgeoning popularity of veganism bears witness to the work and sacrifice you did, Srila Prabhupada. Attributing these achievements to you is not based on sentiment, but real, tangible facts. How could this have happened without you bearing the flag of Vaishnavism? You are the most tolerant of spiritual masters. You forgave wrongdoing so many times, telling your disciples if they can't live with the transgressor and can't forgive, then send him to me, he can live with me. So forbearing and merciful, you tolerated our ignorance and lack of refined qualities. In the early days, you did all the cooking, serving prasadam to us, tousle-haired hippie youth who found their way to your door. You would even line up in the queue to use the bathroom with your students. So dull in the head, no one thought to allow you to go first, at the very least. Srila Prabhupada, you never put yourself first. You always took the humble position, but when confronted with impersonalists and Mayavadis, your roar was lion-like, defeating the nihilists, arguing, there is no God, or I am God. Friendly to all living entities, and no one an enemy, meant that everyone was drawn to you. Your glance was penetrating, looking deep into the very heart of those you encountered, seeing who they really were, wayward servants of Krishna. How you exhibited this friendliness constantly. My mother and eldest brother met you in 1973 at the institution of Radha Vallabha in Melbourne, Australia. How friendly you were, that you shook my mother's outstretched hand as she stood waiting in the corridor. You wept to see the materialists struggling with the peak hour, rushing to work in Melbourne. How can they be saved, you said, with tears of compassion streaming down your lotus fate. Being in your presence was like being sheltered in a transcendental bubble. Time stood still, and your peacefulness made our restless hearts be calmed. During one darshan in Mayapur, a disciple asked you if the pure devotee sees Krishna everywhere. You had held out your right palm, cupping it as if you were holding water. You said, in a drop of water, the pure devotee sees the Lord, his associates, and the spiritual world. All your characteristics are sublime, beyond the touch of the material world. I'm a fool, Srila Prabhupada, but keep me close, I beg you. I'm not deserving of your kindness. But be kind to me anyway. Keep me serving. Keep me in ISKCON at your lotus feet. Then bring me back to you. Jai Srila Prabhupada.